Last time, SD 3.11, that is the Rahula Vada Sutta, the section on breath meditation. This is the conclusion, the most important part of the sutta. But you will notice in the Rahula Vada Sutta, the Buddha is teaching his own son, right? That is Rahula. And the Buddha gave Rahula some very special teachings. Okay? For example, we combine the four Brahma Viharas, the divine abodes, together with the four elements or five elements. Okay? So this is the conclusion on breath meditation, page 31, right? Is it 31? What's your page there? 31. Huh? The title is this is the cultivation of in and out breathing. Okay. Again, this teaching on the breath meditation is unique. It's special for the son Rahula. You discover there is a special line here. I won't tell you yet. We'll find out in a moment. Now, the breath meditation is the key meditation in Buddhism. Why? Because the Buddha made use of breath meditation and became awakened. He became Buddha through the breath meditation. In fact, he began his life as a 7-year-old boy, 7-year-old bodhisattva, doing breath meditation and attaining first jhana under what is called a jambu tree. Now it's not jambu, our local jambu, because apparently India doesn't have our jambu. So some scholars say the word actually is jambul. So it's a tree anyway. It's not a rose apple tree. We don't know what tree, just call it jambu tree anyway. It's got nice shade. Now first of all, let me tell you a bit, a short story on this event, okay? It was the ploughing festival. Even in Thailand, the king still does ploughing festival because Thailand, as you know, plants lots of very good paddy, very good rice. So that the king will go out to the field. Of course, those days the king himself will hold a plough. Of course, there will be people to help him. And then there's very beautiful buffaloes or cows, maybe all white, will pull the plough. He just breaks the ground actually. It's not like he's going to plow the whole field. It's a fertility rite actually. Okay? It's not exactly a Buddhist rite, but it's a traditional ritual of agricultural countries. The king breaks the ground. And then maybe he sows some seeds. But in Thailand, I was told, it's like the king will bless the seed. And the seeds will be distributed. Maybe each farmer will get a handful, and he goes back and makes this very special paddy with his paddy, and so and then the whole country gets it, something like that. Yeah. So okay, so this very exciting festival is going on, but this young child Siddhartha, 7 years old, we are told, is not interested in all this. So he was sitting down under the tree, and all these nurses were taking care of him, all these maids. Well, they noticed this child Siddhartha is so quiet and peaceful, and he doesn't need their care actually. So they were so drawn to the festival. They want to go and see all this excitement. So according to some traditional drawings, this child Siddhartha actually sitting inside an enclosure. You have this like a kind of curtain, and so he's quite safe inside. So these maids went away and went to enjoy watching the ploughing festival. The child Siddhartha was like all alone. And as he sat there, what would the future Buddha do? He gets into meditation, 7-year-old, mind you. And then he goes deep into meditation, first jhana. Then when the festival was nearly over, when the ploughing was nearly over, suddenly these nurses remember, say, oh dear, we have left the child alone. They all ran back to look at him. And then, well, he's safe, he's sitting quietly there, but they were quite surprised and shocked to see something very wonderful. You see, the day already passed noon. Okay, that means the sun, the shadow should be long, getting longer. But where the child Siddhartha is sitting in meditation, the shadow is still there. In other words, the sun is not shining on him. The shadow is still very cool shadow in a hot day. This child is meditating. So this is a wonderful event, I mean, it seems as if time stopped for this child. Imagine the shadow does not move. The story doesn't say the sun does not move. The story only says the shadow did not move. Of course, these women were terrified. They ran to the king and said, "Hey, please come and see. There's a wonderful thing here." So everybody came, and the king came and saw this child sitting in meditation in the unmoving shadow under the tree. Apparently, this is the second or third time the king says, "Oh, I bow to you, my son." And the king, the father, bows to the son because it's a very special event. Okay, so the question is this: that you have this kind of stories in the Buddha's life. They seem miraculous. You may say, "Oh, forget about this kind of story. We should throw this story out." But if you do that, you're going to remove some of the most important symbolic events in the life of the Buddha. Whether the shadow really stood still or not is not the point, because we're talking about a story of the child Siddhartha here. How do you describe a child 7 years old deep in meditation in a time when there's no television, no stage production like us today, like we have today? So they have to use all these symbolic ways of telling stories. When we say the shadow did not move, the suggestion is that time seems to stand still. Now you take it literally, you see. This is what I do when I come across all these stories in the sutta. I tell myself, take it as it is. Well, let's find out, okay, where do we go from there? What does it mean? How does it apply to the life of the Buddha? And then you get all these stories coming back to you. If you like faith, you try to be modernist, say, oh, all these are, not true, then you will miss a very important part of the life of the Buddha and of the suttas and the Dhamma. The meaning is this. You see, the child is in deep jhana. Now, if you all have done deep meditation before, if you have got into some state of meditation, or maybe you might not get into any deep state, you have sat down and you are struggling, and then meditation is over. And then you say, hey, so fast, all right? Now, if you say, hey, so fast, I mean, you've been doing quite well. Now, if you are always quietly stealing a look at your watch, say, hey, when is it going to ring the bell? When is meditation over? You're still okay. You didn't get up and run away, So, the meaning is this: when you go into deep meditation, you experience a different kind of time. You have all the time in the world. This is something you only know if you go into deep meditation. In fact, you don't have to go into deep meditation. If you live a life of loving the Dhamma, working for the Dhamma, you will notice this. Of course, I can only tell you about my experiences, translating the suttas full time. I started nearly 20 years ago. And for 20 years, we translate suttas. Isn't it boring? Some people might say, no? Of course it's boring if you don't love the sutta. Every time you got to go there, translate some Pali into English, and you got to correct. After translating, you got to read through it again for correct the typos. And as you read through, as the author, you want to translate some, or you want to add in here, add in there, and you got to read through again. And then you send out for someone to proofread. I got like 3 or 4 proofreaders, main ones. And whenever these 3 or 4 come back, I have to read through them again, update again 4 times. I got to go to the same sutta 4 times. So you imagine. So if you tell yourself, oh, this is such a drudgery, you say you're not happy, then you won't enjoy it. It's like meditation. You don't think about it. You feel it. You say, okay, this is sutta. Let me just read right now. Why is this? And when you're tired, you stop. Okay. So this is what I do. I call it micro work. Sometimes I just do one paragraph and then I stop and then I come back and do another paragraph like that. So there's always time. There's always time. And then I have sutta classes, elsewhere too. You see? And we start at 11 and finish at 12:30. So, and we have this big clock beside us. And the clock goes bong bong, so you know the time. You see. Sometimes we do 2 or 3 suttas because they're short. So I go on talking about this sutta. I said, okay, it should be enough, I think. Should be 12 o'clock already. No? But after talking, I look at the clock, still 5 minutes before 12. So there is still time, you see. So this is where, if you are in no hurry, you don't do the work because you're forced to work, there's always time. There's always time. So if you don't mess your life up, you don't do unnecessary things, troubling things, you always have time for important people important in your life. You always have time for things which are important to you. Otherwise, you'll be running here, running there. They say like headless chickens. I can't imagine. Headless chickens can still run around, it seems. So, you're running all over the place, very tired and sweating and all this. I actually saw one person like that, one big temple. This man, I can't even talk to him. He was running up and down, all sweating and very strange, and not human, And you can't talk to him. I asked, why is he running like that? He said, he's doing very hard work. That's not the way we work, Buddhist way, right? So remember, we have all the time. That's the meaning of akaliko, by the way. Akaliko means don't worry about time. That's one meaning. So when you meditate, it's akaliko. Time seems to stand still. So that's the meaning of the shadow standing still under the tree, where the child Siddhartha is sitting. So that's breath meditation, to show you how important this breath meditation is. Then Prince Siddhartha or Siddhartha leaves home. He sees the 4 sights and he leaves home. He went to the 2 teachers. He learned very deep meditation. He went to the highest level possible those days. Very deep meditation, to the formless jhanas. 8 levels of jhanas. Still no breakthrough. So he decided to go by himself. So that is, we call him the ascetic Siddhartha. Okay? The ascetic Gautama. So he was thinking, he says, I tried meditation, it doesn't work. Maybe I've not tried the opposite of it. Instead of dealing with the mind, I should deal with my body this time, right? Maybe the answer lies in the body. We should totally purify this body. Purge this body of all the defilements. Even if we have to die, wonderful, This is what they believed those days. If you die while doing this, you are a saint, Well, you're a dead saint. What's the use of a dead saint, Right? So he decided to practice self-mortification, self-torture, by eating less and less, and eating 1 grain a day, and then after that, not taking anything. In fact, he became more thin than even Phyllis. Very, very thin. In fact, you have a very beautiful statue very rare statue, only 4 or 5 can be seen in the world. And almost all of them come from, strangely, Afghanistan. Because that's the place where Mahayana is very strong. They like Greek influence, so they make all these statues of the Buddha. Although the Buddha said, please don't make any statues of me. Anyway, so this ascetic Siddhartha became very thin by not taking food. He also became very weak. And then he tried non-breathing meditation. Can you imagine that? To stop the breath. And he said, wow, the pain is terrible, You can feel the pain in the body, in the head. Trying not to breathe. Hold the breath for a long time, Because these yogis, they can do that. Even today, they can do that, But it doesn't prove anything. It just means you can hold your breath. All right, that's all. Or you can be a good swimmer, maybe. But then once you activate your body, once you're active, you have to breathe again. Anyway, he tried all that and nearly died, and he knew this is not the way. So then he told himself, okay, since I've tried all this, I've gone for meditation, doesn't work. I did all this self-mortification, self-torture, didn't work. It must be somewhere in between. There must be a pleasure, a joy that is good. You see, the ancient religious people, even today, some of these religious people, they think that all pleasures are bad. The Buddhism doesn't say that. There are bad pleasures, there are good ones. The bad ones are those where you're addicted to it and you suffer for it. And other people also suffer for it. It doesn't really benefit you. Then there are joys, there are happiness that actually make you a better person. If you are truly happy, you will not break the precepts, for example. Right? So, even before he became Buddha, the ascetic Gautama, he reflected, he says, there must be this middle way. What is it? Then he remembered when he was 7 years old, he was sitting under this beautiful tree. He went to deep meditation and he was experiencing the joy of the first jhana. The first jhana is very joyful. Then he concluded, there must be a pleasure that is wholesome, that is good, that is meditative joy. And this is what breath meditation can give us. When you enjoy your meditation, when you smile in your meditation, when you're happy in your meditation, even if you sit for a short while, you benefit. The Buddha says, if you can sit for as long as it takes to milk a cow, not actually milk a cow, to pull the cow's udder and then milk come out, shoot like that, just for that long. Now, that's not very long. Yeah? So you get up in the morning, you say, may all beings be well and happy. You have done it already. If you do that every day, you see, just like that long, the Buddha says, you have practiced my teaching. He didn't say sit 1 hour a day, or sit as long as you can, and take half an hour to walk from here to the toilet. Not like that. He didn't say that. Okay. So just do it. Right? It's so simple, right? This is the thing I've discovered about Buddhism as in the evening of my life. It is so simple. Even becoming stream winner, you aspire to it, then it helps you to keep the precepts. You reflect on impermanence. There was one unhappy monk, he did not say I'm wrong. He says, the Buddha seems to make it so simple. I have so much faith in this monk, so I take whatever he said literally. So I thought, yes, the Buddha made it simple. But he meant just the opposite. He said, are you sure the Buddha made it so simple? And I didn't know this until 1 or 2 years later. I'm really slow, when it comes to monks. So then I realized, why did he think this way? Because next thing I heard someone say, they teach that you must have jhana to become a stream winner. I said, wow, in that case, no one will ever, any of us will attain stream winning or the path in this life. We all be reborn in subhuman states, animals and pretas, hell beings next life. Nowhere in the sutta does the Buddha says you need jhana to attain stream winning or once returning. Only as non-returner arahat you need jhana. You need jhana to overcome sensual desire. Okay? So sensual desire is very difficult to overcome. So as a stream winner, we still have sensual desire, but it is within control. Right? Like you can get married, you can have businesses, you can enjoy your wealth within the 5 precepts. Right? So here we come back to the breath meditation. Right? Let's look at the text now. Right? Page 31. The cultivation of in and out breathing. So remember the first part, physical preparation. Remember I always tell you when you start, check your posture. So where did the Buddha talk about posture? There you are, section 23. Rahula, cultivate the mindfulness of in and out breathing. Rahula, the mindfulness of in and out breathing, when cultivated and continuously developed, is of great fruit and great benefit. And how, Rahula, is this meditation done to bring great benefit? Okay, I'm shortening it for you. Then, section 25, here, Rahula, a monk. Okay, the word monk here means anyone who's meditating, who has gone to the forest, to the foot of a tree, or to an empty place, sits down, and having crossed his legs and keeping his body upright, establishes mindfulness before him. Mindfully he breathes in, mindfully he breathes out. Okay, so this is the classic instruction. All right. Notice how to sit. All right. But before that, look at the word monk first. The Buddha is a monk. The Buddha always says monk in the suttas anyway. And any good teacher will tell you this word is a short form for anyone present listening to the Buddha. It refers to meditator. All right. Even the Buddha Ghosha, the commentator, explains this word. When you sit in meditation, okay, and you are very calm, you have attained the state of a monk, bhikkhu bhava, right? So being a monk is not wearing a different funny-looking blanket and shaving, having a new hairstyle. The way the Dhammapada says, even if you are a beautifully dressed layman with all the ornaments, but you are calm and you are non-violent, you are peaceful, and you keep to the precepts as a brahmachari, you are a Brahmin, you're a priest, you're a recluse, you are a monk, a bhikkhu. See, so you don't have to be a monk, you don't have to renounce to be a monk. Okay? This is not to say being a monk is useless. Being a monk, you are given all this environment and opportunity to really speed up your practice. It's the best life possible if you keep to the rules to attain the path in this life. But even as a layman, you can still practice all this. When you sit peacefully, you are no different from the monk meditating. Okay, the peace of mind, right? So that's meaning of monk. Next, forest. Here, forest can mean a group of trees all around. So you go to botanic gardens, you go to any park, lots of trees, that kind of place. The foot of a tree, right? That means foot of tree is very safe, right? Away from the hot sun or heavy or rain even. Empty place, right? Can be a building, even open air. And for breath meditation, we sit down. There is walking meditation, right? You can also meditate if you are sick, lying down. Okay, before you go to sleep, you can also meditate. Use the meditation that makes you sleepy, right? There is walking meditation for exercising. The Buddha exercises like twice a day, walking up and down, and also meditating. So there are different postures for meditating. But breath, you have to sit. Sitting is the best because we want to let go of the five senses, focus on the mind, on the breath. Totally. Why focus on the breath? Because the breath is the doorway to the mind. Okay? I'll talk more about this later. The breath is the doorway to the mind. So you sit down so that you don't have to exert yourself, you are balanced, you can let go of the body, you are very peaceful, you direct your mind directly to the breath. See, it says cross-legged, alright? So you can do full lotus or half lotus, or even sitting like this. The way you sit with the leg hanging from the chair is called Bhadrasana, the auspicious posture. Here auspicious means easy sitting. Okay? And then you keep your body upright. This is helpful. You keep your body upright, your spine also is straight. You cannot keep your body completely straight. So from the front, you look like it's straight, but from the side, you see a slight curve. That doesn't matter, natural curve. Important thing is you sit and your center of gravity is inside, your body weight goes straight down into the ground. Then the weight is spread out, and you feel lighter that way. So balance is very important. Okay. And normally, of course, some teachers will tell you if you put a cushion, then you sit on the cushion, or even a roll of newspaper, blanket, and you sit on it, and your legs, your knees are lower, for example. That usually is very comfortable. But again, you may be comfortable anywhere you sit. For example, I'm quite surprised when Indian clients come for meditation, or we go to Indian house to teach meditation, they're happy to sit on the floor. They're so used to sitting on the floor, right? All right, so this is your posture, and then establishes mindfulness before you. There's a bit of controversy here. The Pali word is parimukha. Parimukha literally means around the mouth, but nowhere in the suttas is it really told. We are told that we should watch around the mouth. How do you watch around the mouth? Very difficult, There are many words in Pali which are idiomatic. Okay, for example, we say, "Can we have some hands here?" It doesn't mean you give your hand. I mean, you go and help. You see, right? Can we have some hands here? So this is idiomatic talk. So parimukha simply means keep your mindfulness in front. That means don't let it go behind you, then you don't see it, then you're not mindful. In front, on the breath, for example. All right. Now, even in the Pali Canon, especially in the book, one of the 15 books, the Fifth Nikaya. Many of the Fifth Nikaya books are quite late. The oldest are the Nikaya 1, 2, 3, 4. Digha Nikaya, Majjhima Nikaya, Samyutta Nikaya, Anguttara Nikaya. These are very old. Of course, in the Khuddaka Nikaya, there is one very special book, Sutta Nipata. The last two chapters are among the oldest texts that we have. They used to exist by themselves, the Attaka Vagga and the Parayana Vagga. Okay, they are mentioned by name in other suttas, even in Chinese translations. Those two chapters are very old, the oldest, in fact, if you like, of the suttas. And yet, the Sutta Nipata also got very late suttas. Later, maybe even after the Buddha has passed away. For example, Mangala Sutta, Ratana Sutta, all those favorite suttas that we. That one's Khuddaka Pata, but it's also in the Sutta Nipata. Okay, in the two places, so it shows they are very popular. All the sutta, the blessing suttas. So, there is a book in the Khuddaka Nikaya called the Patisambhida Magga, the path of wisdom, if you like. It's a kind of sharp wisdom. Patisambhida is something like wit. It's an Abhidhamma book, but somehow it's not included in Abhidhamma, but it's put in one of the 15 books. One possible explanation is that it was compiled a bit late, so they didn't include in Abhidhamma. Or maybe it was very early, then they put it into the Khuddaka. This is a very difficult book to read. It's all about wisdom. So it is attributed to Sariputta. We don't know who wrote it anyway. So in this Patisambhida Magga, it says this parimukha, watching the front means you watch somewhere around the nose. But that's the earliest mention in the suttas, in the canon, not in the sutta, but in the Fifth Nikaya, to watch around the nose. Of course, you can watch around the nose if you like. If you have difficulty, you can watch around the nose. And later, the Burmese like to introduce new things because they are such good meditators. They know Abhidhamma very well, so they very confidently they add in certain techniques which help the beginners. Buddha Gosha also introduced the counting method. It's all later. You don't see the counting method in the suttas. Counting helps some people, right? The Burmese introduced the watching rise and fall, especially over the belly. they will instruct you to watch 2 fingers breath above the belly button. It is very interesting because in Kundalini Yoga they tell you to watch 2 fingers breath below the belly button. So these are technicalities you don't have to worry yourself about because you get lost in speculation and you never meditate. The idea is to watch the rise and fall of your belly. Okay, rise, fall, rise, fall. That means impermanence. And then when you are peaceful, after you are very peaceful, you don't see any more rising, falling because your breathing is already very calm. You don't notice movement anymore. You might not even notice any breath touching your nostril. That's why you're very peaceful, right? So you go into the traditional method then, right? So if you have difficulty, you can opt for some of these extra later methods. Otherwise, you can go straight into what the Buddha has taught you, like the way we do it here. You know? We watch the breath and then without the counting, notice. In, out, okay? So this is the first part. Now there are 16 stages here, and for us as beginners, we only need to master the first 4. The first 4 are for beginners, right? The rest are higher levels, even going to jhana and so on. So you don't have to worry about the others at this point. Of course, as you practice, as you master the first 4 stages, especially when joy arises, then you're ready for the next few stages. Let's look, and they're called tetrads, by the way. A tetrad is a set of 4. Okay, you can also call them quartets if you like, but quartets usually for groups of people or for music, right? So here they're called tetrads, sets of 4. So you can see the number 26. Can you 26? And then there's an A there, right? So A is the first tetrad. So the first tetrad, observing the body. All right. Now what's interesting here, you see the practice of breath meditation combined with satipatthana. You know satipatthana? Watching the 4 focuses. So the first focus, the body. Second focus is what? Look at 27 is feelings. And then third focus, section 28 is what? The mind. And then the fourth focus of mindfulness, section 29 is dharmas. Okay? I'll explain why we use the dharma later on. So these are the 4 focuses of mindfulness. Let me tell you simply why the 4 are arranged in this way. Why body first? Right? Body, kaya nupassana, contemplation of the body. Okay? Number 2, vedana nupassana, contemplation on feelings. And the third one is citta nupassana, contemplation of the mind. And the last one is dhamma nupassana, contemplation on the dharmas. Very simply, you can translate as mental states, if you like, or realities also can. When you meditate, the first thing you must deal with is the body, right? Because when you sit down and say, hey, I'm not comfortable, and then you hear sounds, smells, feeling, and so on. This is the body, you see. So you have to deal with the body. So if you go into the Satipatthana Sutta, they will tell you, okay, watch the body like this. There are many ways. Of the long list, the longest section is on the body. How to watch the body. Walking meditation also is part of. This is called body-based meditation. So the breath meditation is the most popular, the best known, the most effective body-based meditation. Kayanupassana meditation, if you like. There are 4 steps here, 1, 2, 3, 4. They're all running numbers, so look at 1, 2, 3, 4. Section 26. Now again, each line has got a couplet, the two steps, if you like. Brackets 1. Breathing in long, he understands, or I understand. Breathing in long. Okay? Now in Pali, the sentence is very short, one word only, in fact, right? Or 2 words. You can join it up, it becomes 1 word. So you can simply say long breath, if you like, right? Or breathing out long. He understands breathing out long. Right? So you have the event, the thought. Okay, acknowledgement. So first, the sutta here starts with long breath. Okay, long breath is slow breath. Right, breathing in long, breathing out long, like that. So normally when you start, you will breathe long. Okay, I mean if you are relaxed, no? But if you are late and you've been running up the stairs, of course it'll be short breath. Okay, so you can start with a short breath. Okay, that's number 2. Breathing in short, he understands short breath. Okay, you don't have to follow exactly the word here. You can say short breath, or just short also can. Right. Important thing is you must feel it. Okay, you must know it is long. There is the thought. The breath is long. Then you acknowledge it. You say long breath. So this is called sub-verbalization. You don't actually say it. No one can hear it. You go to a meditation retreat, you don't hear everybody say short breath, long breath. You don't, right? Because it's all mentally done in your mind. Yeah? Okay. So it's a sub-verbalization. That means the words are underneath your voice. No one hears it. In long, out long. Okay. And then in short, out short also can. So this one you can actually, what we are doing is simplify this. So the next stage is you can go on to watch long breath, short breath on your own anytime you're ready, when you notice the breath more closely. Okay? Number 3, the third pair. Notice the first 2 sections. The Pali word is pajanati, he understands. So you look, you think a bit, and then you say long breath in, long breath out, short breath in, short breath out. That's called you engage, you pajanati, you understand it's long, you understand it is short, then you acknowledge accordingly. But number 3 onwards to the rest of the sutta, the verb is he trains himself, right? Brackets 3, he trains himself thus. I will breathe in, experiencing the whole body. Okay, the sutta only says whole body, but I put brackets, whole body of breath. Okay, there's a bit of controversy here. I'll explain in a moment. He trains himself thus. I will breathe out, experiencing the whole body of breath. Now imagine the sutta says, I will breathe in, experiencing the whole body. I will breathe out, experiencing the whole body. Okay, kaya. Kaya has 2 senses. It can mean the physical body, or it can mean a collection, like we say student body, or a body of workers, right? It means a group. So some teachers say, literally, they say, oh, whole body is you watch the whole body. But if you do that, you have taken your focus away from the breath. So it's going to be more difficult, you see. Of course, if you just watch it like that, for example, you feel pain on your leg, you watch it, you can say that's watching the body. But here, if you carefully look at the sutta, the body here is not the physical body, because we want to focus on the breath, you see. It refers to the body of breath. The breath as a body of air. Why is this very important? From experience. Right? So you have these different teachers who teach you different things, but the way I've been trained from Mahasi Sayadaw in Myanmar and some other teachers, we always taught body of breath. You have the beginning, middle, end. 3 parts of the breath. Some people, normally most of us will watch the end of the breath. That's the easiest to watch. But I have people who tell me it's easier to watch the start of the breath, for example. All right. So if you are beginning your meditation, you can usually you will watch the end of the breath, easiest to watch, or beginning for a few. But as your breath slows down, long breath for example, you begin to notice middle part also. That means your mind is more focused. You can notice the breath in 3 parts. That means you have slowed down, you're more focused. Okay. Now remember, you cannot want this now. Because if you want this, you are thinking already. Then it will never come. It's just like someone, who's always testing himself. When he meditates, and he opens his eyes, am I meditating? And then he meditates again. Am I meditating? Of course, he's not meditating, right? So in other words, if you have to ask, it means you are not meditating. When you meditate, you just do it. You don't think. No more thinking. Thinking is the action of the mind. Mediated. It's called mediated attention. The mediated through one of the 6 senses. Okay. For example, it's mediated through the eye, through the ear, the nose, and very very complicated. You see something, you start thinking, I like this, I don't like this, beautiful, not beautiful, right? You start thinking, right? So we don't want that. It's not mediated, direct awareness. Okay? So here, when your breathing slows down, you can notice the whole body of breath, beginning, middle, end. So here, look at the sentence again. He trains himself thus. I will breathe in, experiencing the whole body of breath. That means you notice the breath complete, beginning, middle, end. You breathe in, you watch the whole breath, in, middle, end. Without, and then out, middle, end, like that, you see? So because your breath slowed down, you can watch everything. It's so easy to watch, because by the time you're already focused, you are nothing but your breath. Okay? Then, number 4, he trains himself thus, I will breathe in calming the body, bodily formations. Again, I put the brackets there, off breath. The last line, number 4, he trains himself thus, I will breathe out, calming the body of breath, bodily formations of the breath. Yeah? Okay. So in the previous set, number 3, you watch the whole body, the breath coming in, middle, and the breath goes out, beginning, middle, end. Right? Now, as you do that, you find there are some thoughts. Sometimes the thoughts will come and say, am I doing it right? Wow, look at this breath, very long. So the mind is always talking, right? You don't need to do anything, the mind will be chattering away. And you will notice this in your meditation. So calming the formations means the thoughts die away. You let go of the thoughts, you smoothen the breath becomes more peaceful. Now just to jump ahead a bit, how do we know the breath becomes more peaceful? You don't notice it as a physical sensation anymore. So this is where in the first tetrad, the breath is still a bodily action. It is still body. The breath is the body. Okay? But when it comes to the second tetrad, 27, the breath becomes feeling. And then in the third tetrad, the breath becomes even more fine. The breath becomes a thought. The breath becomes the mind. That's when you notice the breath even less. The breath is even more peaceful. Okay, so notice each stage the breath gets more and more fine. The breath switches from being a physical body to become a mental body. After that, become no body. It's just breath. And then, last stage, nothing. We'll come to that a bit later. No? Okay, so this is the first tetrad. Any quick question on the first tetrad? Only the tetrads, yeah. Yes?
During the breathing process, the mind doesn't follow the breath, right?
What do you mean by doesn't follow the breath?
Breathe out. You are saying about the middle,
Mm-hmm.
beginning, middle, end. But when we doing,
Oh, what you mean? We don't force it. You mean?
no, the mind doesn't follow the breath, right? Because it has to be established mindfulness before. So the mindfulness is in front.
Oh, no. I don't know. No, don't take it literally. No, it doesn't literally means in front. Here, the mind is in front. That means it is focused on the breath.
Focus on the breath.
Ah,
That
yes.
means when breathing in, the mind also follows.
It watches it. Yes. I wouldn't say follow it. Yeah, it's not a wrong word, but it's more like you are like a doorman, and this many teachers like to use this.
But still need to.
The doorman stands at the door. Guests come in one by one. So the doorman say hello, come in, but he doesn't follow inside. But he watches the guest at the door. Yes. No. Forget the word front, okay? A front is not a place. Front means your mind is in the breath. That's why I say sometimes translation can cause problems. The Pali word parimukha. Your mind is completely, totally with the breath. Okay? So yes, I would say for a simple level, you follow the breath. So that you don't get confused. You follow the breath. Because if you don't follow the breath, then you're not attending to it. You won't know what's happening, you see. So you must watch the breath. But then the mind gets distracted, it's always get pulled away. You see? So you must bring it back. You get pulled away, you bring it back. Pull away, you bring it back. This is what happens in the first stage. You got to keep bringing back the breath. Okay? There is another beautiful analogy. There are 10 pictures. It's called the cow herding pictures. Okay, but the first few is enough. There is this wild buffalo, and this boy wants to catch the wild buffalo. So he's got a rope, you see. All right. So he run here, run there to follow the cow. This cow really very, very cunning, very hard to catch at first. Finally, he threw the rope, managed to get the horn. And once the rope is around the cow's horns or neck, this boy holds onto the rope, never let go. The rope is your mindfulness, attention. The cow is the breath. So once you catch the cow, you hold on the rope, you don't let go, right? So your breath is there with your mind is there with the breath. You don't let go. In that sense, you follow the breath. To tame the wild cow. To tame the wild breath.
Just like the 6 animals.
Yes, the one is the different analogy. The 6 animals go in 6 directions. Okay, that is early in meditation. Okay, all right, good. So notice this first tetrad is the body meditation, body-based meditation. You watch the breath, follow the breath with the mind to calm it down. Okay, calming the bodily formation. Formations here again refers to the mental activity surrounding the breath, our thoughts and other things that kind of makes us distracted from the breath. Okay, now second tetrad, observing feelings. Okay, now this makes very good sense, because when you first watch your breath, it's a very physical activity. As you watch your breath, next thing is feelings start arising, right? So feeling can be pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. Okay, 3 kinds of feelings. Let us look at number 5, brackets 5. He trains himself thus. Notice that all this word now are trained. Trained, that means you got to mentally make some effort. He trains himself thus. I will breathe in experiencing zest. Zest actually is joy. He trains himself thus. I will breathe out experiencing zest. Now zest is a very it's a very powerful joy. You feel really good. Say, oh, this is really nice, very beautiful feeling, very powerful feeling. You won't say those words, but that's the kind of exuberant joy. You feel really good. Okay, zest, very physical in a sense. So this number 5. Number 6. He trains himself thus. I will breathe in experiencing joy, sukha. The number 5 is P-T. P-I, with the line away, T-I. P-T, zest. Some people translate as rapture, but it's a bit too strong. The next one, section 6, is sukha. Sukha, okay? Joy. Sometimes people translate as happiness, right? But it's too broad. He trains himself thus. I will breathe in experiencing joy. He trains himself thus. I will breathe out experiencing joy. Okay? Now once you see these two words, zest and joy, jhana already there. So you see, the first tetrad, no jhana yet. This is what you're all doing. Then when you attain jhana, that is the beginning of the 5th tetrad already. Right? So this is kind of a higher level already. This joy is very powerful. There are many ways of feeling it. One thing you know, it is very strong joy, is there's a very bright light. Very bright light. Here, don't get too excited, alright? See, in meditation, you have to learn to be really restrained in a sense that no matter what happens, don't get excited. Because if you get excited, you will lose it. Here, of course, we all like to quote Ajahn Chah's story of the forest animals. Do you remember that story? He says these forest monks, in the evening, they have the cloth, in Thai, the cloth is a mosquito net, circular one, which they hang on the tree, and then, they sit in it, right? And it's twilight, so there is still a bit of light, but the sun is setting, and that's when the animals will come out to drink water. So this forest man will sit quietly in his cloth, in his what they call mosquito net, and you can see all these beautiful animals coming out to drink water at the water edge. First of all will be the common animals. Most common probably you'll see is a wild boar, nothing interesting. Maybe you might see a mouse there, more interesting. Or you see a tiger, which is quite scary, But if you sit very still, the tiger won't know you are there, so you are safe, all right? So this, and of course, you have a lot of metta, so very important to do metta in the forest, all right? So this Ajahn Chah says that, so if you are very quiet, then when there's just enough light, you will see some really rare, beautiful animals you've never seen before. They will come and drink water. But the moment you say, wow, you just say, wow, like that, animals can hear and zap, they disappear. They're gone. So your meditation also like that. That bright light, that joy is very shy. You say, wow, it's gone. You see? So you should never do that. Just be very still. Right? Because these beautiful state of minds are very shy. So if you see bright lights, again, these lights can be like your National Day celebration fireworks, Sometimes a bit here, a bit there. Sometimes here bright, but the rest not bright, So it's very odd depending on your personality. If you keep your precepts well, the brightness comes faster and stronger. So a little bit light, no, doesn't count. Just go on meditating. When do you know jhana has arisen? The brightness is complete, it's total, The whole mind is bright, so bright that you have no choice, but that's all you can actually see in your mind. Then you focus at the center, especially if you are a critical-minded kind of person. Focus in the center of the bright light in your meditation. Okay, just see the brightness, smile. Okay, because if you notice thoughts coming, you can gently whisper, peaceful, peaceful. But usually you don't have to because it's so bright. Don't look at the edge, because if you look at the edge, the edge tends to be not so bright already. Then you say, yeah, how come the edge not so bright? And then there goes the bright light will be gone. So again, you cannot make this happen. It's just like falling asleep. You cannot say sleep. You won't sleep. You just relax, you fall asleep, right? So this brightness also arises like that, all right? Then you focus in the center, okay? So that means there is already this wonderful zest arising, and then sukha is the gentler kind of joy. Okay, so this is jhana already. And then number 7, he trains himself thus, I will breathe in, understanding the mental functions. He trains himself thus, I will breathe out, understanding the mental functions. So basically here is watching the mind. Okay? Make sure there's not a single thought that will arise, because if the mind says, I like this, you got to keep the mind quiet. Okay? You don't say anything. At best is smile. You only say something when the mind is going to be distracted, to push away the distraction. You're very gentle, say peaceful something. Okay? So that will be in this stage 7. You notice the way the mind still a bit of thought there maybe, and then you calm that, even the breath, still the jaw, you calm it down. Okay. Now, if you go into other teachings, they will go on to tell you on what are called the 5 jhana factors. So in the first jhana, you have zest and joy. Zest is very exuberant. Then when zest disappears, there's only sukha, the second jhana, like that. So you go up like that, okay? But we won't go into that, very technical at this point. So here basically is guard the brightness. By watching the center, calm the mind, keep it free from any kind of thoughts, because the thought will bring you back to the body level. You see? So that's why we don't want that to happen. We just keep watching, smiling maybe at this brightness. At first you may not get it, you may fall away, it doesn't matter. Okay? So you just go on meditating, then you become better and better in letting go. This is where you must really understand the meaning of renunciation. You really must let go. You have no aim, you're not going to desire anything, there is this joy in front of you and you're enjoying it. That is the benefit of what is called spiritual renunciation. Spiritual renunciation. Okay? The meditator's renunciation. This is the true renunciation, letting go. When you let go, joy arises. Right? We go on to the third tetrad, section 28. Now it's getting a bit more complicated, a bit more deeper, right? So don't worry if you don't understand the last 2 tetrads. The most important is the first 4, the first tetrad. You have to master them. Okay, 28. C, the third tetrad. Notice it's brackets 9 on the 9th stage, 9th pair. He trains himself thus, I will breathe in, experiencing the mind. He trains himself thus, I will breathe out, experiencing the mind. So there is still the breath, very subtle. The breath is no more physical breath, it's a mental breath. This is where you really see what your mind is. The mind is becoming more clear, so to speak. Okay? The nature of the mind, if you like. So you begin to, the word experience here can also translate as feel. Feel meaning direct experience. Then, he trains himself thus, I will breathe in, gladdening the mind. He trains himself thus, I will breathe out, gladdening the mind. Right? So, again, the in and out is the normal life process. You don't do it. I mean, you're not making it happen. It just with very subtle breathing in out is occurring all the time. So even as that happens, this is what you're doing. You're gladdening. You are making the mind more joyful. How do you make the mind more joyful? The mind already has exuberant joy, zest, right? So you make that gentler by letting it go. Then you are left with sukha. Sukha is that it's like your job is done, nothing more to do. You sit back, very relaxed, happy, that kind of feeling. It's not exuberant, it's not excited. Everything is done, you're very happy, contented if you like, but very deep happiness. But still there's a subtle sense of activity. So you kind of let it go also. Okay. Now there's a problem here. We're talking about meditation in daily language. So it can be quite difficult sometimes. So we got to stretch the word a bit using idiomatic language, using figurative language, using stories sometimes. So you gladden the mind. You make yourself even more happy by letting go. Letting go. The mind becomes lighter. This is where the word light, the light has two meanings, right? Light means not heavy. Light also means bright. So this is exactly what happens in meditation. The lighter your mind becomes, the lighter it becomes. You see? So I use the word lighter in the same sentence, but the timing gives different meaning. The first light means not heavy. Second light means brighter. So this is what happens in meditation, 11. He trains himself thus. I will breathe in, concentrating the mind. He trains himself thus. I will breathe out, concentrating the mind. So focusing the mind even more, letting go even more, renouncing the world even more. Notice number 12. He trains himself thus. I will breathe in, freeing the mind. He trains himself thus. I will breathe out, freeing the mind. This wonderful word, freeing the mind, right? Because when the mind is happy, the mind also still caught with happiness, So the mind has to rise above that. Okay? So this teaching, of course, is very short for Rahula. Now, if you want all the details with lots of notes, there is a separate sutta. I forget the number, but you look into the Anapanasati Sutta. You go to the Dhammathera website, you look for Anapanasati Sutta. It has got all the details there. Okay, because especially about breath meditation. If you still cannot find, you email me, I will get it for you. Satipatthana also can, but there is a special sutta on the breath itself. Right? Yeah, it's good to read all Satipatthana Sutta. M10 is Satipatthana. Okay, 29. Notice the last tetrad, the fourth tetrad, observing the Dhammas. Look at 13. Pair number 13. He trains himself thus. I will breathe in, observing impermanence. He trains himself thus. I will breathe out, observing impermanence. Okay, there's a bit of a problem here. If you are in jhana, you cannot be doing this, you see, because there are no thoughts in jhana. It's just joy. So here, you come out of it, so to speak. All right, it's like as if you come up with the joy, and then, because you got to observe impermanence, there is some thought, you see. All right, so this is where but it's a very subtle mental experience. You begin to notice, for example, how the mind switches from zest to joy, from the very exuberant joy to the subtle joy. It's like a shift. You will notice that shift as impermanence. You say, wow, this is change. So this is what change is. You begin to notice the change, one subtle stage to another stage. It's like when you're meditating, you notice, oh, my breathing is slowing down now. You notice that. So, and that to you is impermanence. You begin to notice impermanence more carefully as a dharma. Dharma here can mean mental state. Dharma can also mean reality. See, the problem with the word Dhamma in Pali, it has got the meaning of so many things. I don't know, 30, 40, 50 meanings. The first meaning of Dhamma, of course, the teaching. Dhamma can mean thought, Dhamma can mean reality, Dhamma can mean principle, Dhamma can mean rule, and so on. So here Dhamma can be taken to mean reality, the reality that arises in your mind. Okay? What is real in your mind? Impermanence is real. So you notice this impermanence. 14. He trains himself thus. I will breathe in, observing the fading away. Notice the sutta simply say fading away. But I put in round brackets, fading away of what? Fading away of lust. Because you're so joyful, you no more have any desire. Lust fades away. No more desire. You're just happy the way you are. So you observe fading away. Okay? And then next one, he trains himself thus, I will breathe out, observing the fading away of lust. Okay? Now this is very high level already. You notice desire gone. Because you're so happy. You're so happy you don't need anything, you don't want anything. It's just like you have eaten your favorite food. Like you come back overseas, long time didn't eat sambal belacan, and then you finally go, wow, this really nice sambal belacan. Okay? And then you mix your rice, you eat, finish your food already so full. You don't feel like eating anymore. You say, oh, this is nice. Don't want anymore. You're very happy. Okay? Something like that. You are nothing more to say. Yeah? You're just happy. Okay? Alright, so all the hunger fade away. All the desire for food fade away. No more desire. That's the meaning. Okay? Then 15, he trains himself thus. I will breathe in, observing the cessation. Sutta only says cessation. He trains himself thus. I will breathe out, observing cessation. Cessation of suffering. Because whenever we say Nirodha, it's the third truth. It's cessation of suffering. Okay? No more suffering. Here is very subtle suffering, dukkha, subtle dukkha, dissatisfaction, gone. Okay? You are just happy. Why are you happy? Don't know. Don't care. You're just happy. I call it unreasonable happiness. No need reason. If you have a reason, someone can take it away. You are just happy. Okay? Alright, so suffering ends. Isn't it wonderful? By the way, it's all impermanent at this point. 16, he trains himself thus. I will breathe in, observing the letting go. Letting go. So Sutta just said letting go. Relinquishing. No need things anymore. I will breathe out, observing the letting go. Here, letting go of defilements. So in your breath meditation, you are temporarily free. But once you end your meditation as lay people, we are not yet on the path, then everything comes back, more or less. But we are stronger. So there you are. These are the 16 stages. In fact, at stage 15, if you are really careful, you observe impermanence already, you attain stream winning. Okay, it's possible to attain stream winning at that stage. And then the rest all follow up. So this breath meditation can be applied in different ways. Right? So like I said, you want the details, you either read the Satipatthana Sutta, M10, which is in SD 13. I think the breath meditation is in SD 17, isn't it?
M21.
No, yeah, but the SD 17, isn't it? Anyway, so you look up in the Sutta, the Dhammapada website, it is there. Yeah? If not, just email us, we will give you straight away. Yeah? You know, our house is it's a really wonderful sutta center. Everything is there. You can once get whatever you want to know within reasonable limits, that is, about the Dhamma suttas. No? Okay, now we come to the end. Okay, remember the Buddha is teaching Rahula. Section 10, Rahula. This is how the mindfulness of in and out breathing, when cultivated and continuously developed, is of great fruit and great benefit. Rahula, when the mindfulness of in and out breathing is cultivated and continuously developed in this manner, in this way, even the last breath leaves or ends with your knowledge, not without it. This is the only place the Buddha says this. So if you regularly practice breath meditation, even when the last moment comes, you are mindful and you are at peace. And you pass away mindfully, not mindlessly, not confused mind. Yeah? Okay? So that means very sure to have good rebirth next life. Right? By the way, don't feel so bad, because there's another sutta, I think Sota Nogata Sutta, where it is said that even if you die with a confused mind, if you have done lots of good deeds regularly as a layperson or as a monk, you will still be reborn in a happy state. Or if you are reborn in an unhappy state, let's say an unhappy family, you will still be happy. You see? So, don't worry too much about the last thought. You know, there are some monks who disagree that the last thought is the most important. They say, that's an later Abhidhamma idea. It's not fair that you have done so much good in your life and then the last moment makes you be reborn in a beta state, for example. That's unlikely. If you've done lots of good deeds habitually as a person, the last moment somehow will still be good, or if it is not very good or even not good, you're reborn in a bit of unhappy state. The state is unhappy, but you will be happy. Right? So don't worry too much about things like that, which we won't know anyway. Yeah? But focus on doing good, calming your mind, being at peace with yourself in this life. Okay, you got 3 minutes. Any short question? Yes.
You say just now, end of the stage 4, until this stage is at 10 swing limit.
Stage 13 is possible if you reflect on impermanence. Because of reflection and impermanence. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, the other stages you build up, you see.
Because in the beginning you said without jhana,
yes, possible also. This is one of the chances you have, one of the opportunities. There are many opportunities. Okay. Of course, if you have jhana, also possible, but you don't need jhana. Yeah, I suppose better in the sense of more joyful, but you don't need it. Okay. Any other questions? Yeah.
In other words, is it that beginner meditator try not to meditate on this impermanence?
Don't. Why should you not try?
Because I think the impermanence at quite to the last stage.
This is in meditation, breath meditation. If you have difficulty meditating, you can just do what's called mindfulness practice, just being aware everything is impermanent. Let's say if you are faced with a big problem, then you tell yourself, everything is impermanent, even this problem is impermanent, so I should not trouble myself too much like that. So you assure yourself, you apply impermanence in your life. Or at the end of your breath meditation, you say, this breath comes in, goes out. I have no control of this breath. What I take in, I must give back. That's impermanence. So you can reflect like that regularly. Then you find your life will be more in order. When something difficult arises, you're stronger to decide correctly what to do, what not to do.
So another question. So it's okay to because every time I meditate, I will have to follow the things like, this breath is short, suddenly how come it became so short? Then how come it stopped? I thought these are all the mental thoughts that we're going around that we are trying to
You only do this when your mind is very calm. When your mind is very calm, the sutta is telling you begin to notice all these things.
But I'm not calm,
Yeah. No need to go so far yet, because this one is a very advanced. You just stay with the first 4 stages, enough already, right? So here it's just like you are in the aeroplane and you are landing in this big city, let's say London, and you say, we're going to visit London. And you look out from the plane and say, wow, what a big city. You mean I'm going to move around all the streets? No, you don't have to. You just need to stay at your hotel as comfortably as you like. So no need to get out yet. So don't worry about the whole city, okay? I don't think even someone living in London has gone throughout the whole city. In Singapore, not many people have gone to the Botanic Gardens even,
It's normal to follow the chattering, the thing saying.
Yes, that means you're normal. When there is a chatter, that means you're normal. But don't follow the chatter. Because the chatter is the outside world trying to tell you, hey, do this, do that. That's the one. That's
to get it out.
Right, so you get it out by being friendly with it, smile at it, say, okay, nice chatter, but I don't need you right now.
But no, sometimes I tell them get out.
It's okay, then let it talk as much as it like. Then the next time you find a little less, that gradually. In Pali we say, tokang, tokang. Okay, toka, tokang, okay, or tokang, tokang. That means bit by bit, little by little. So, don't set too high standards for you. Don't worry too much. No? The fact that you are able to sit here and didn't run away halfway, that's a great thing already. There are many people who can't even be here, or who halfway say, "Oh, this is too heavy for me. I want to go home." That Mara say, "Very good." Mara rubbing his hands. Mara wants you not to come. Mara doesn't want you to come here. Mara wants you to get all the things you want and then be miserable about it. You want a lot of money, you'll get a lot of money. You become like J-Lo, not really happy. Why? Every time must have all the pleasure, otherwise not happy. Suffering. Mara smiling at you. That's what Mara wants you to do. Don't give Mara that chance. Okay, on that note, we will close. Question. Okay.
I get a sense of parrots starts off with the mind watching the breath, long, short, whatever, and then reaches a stage where the mind is quite confident that the breath and all that more or less in order, so to speak, and then so the mind relaxes. Am I right to describe that way?
Rather, things become clearer, and you don't have to put so much effort. Yes, in that sense. Yeah.
So towards the end, does therefore the mind and the breath somehow merge so that? Definitely.
Yeah. So in fact, by the second stage, you notice the breath is no more physical. It's not body. It's a feeling.
So it's a merge.
That's one way of putting it. Yes. Let's just say the breath loses its bodiness, or it's no more physical like that. Yeah, and then in the end, the breath is no more there because it's so peaceful. You don't need so much oxygen already. Okay, very good. No one troubled by any questions, huh? Okay, so let us close. Let us close this study and remember this wonderful moment when we have the privilege of studying this wonderful Anapanasati Sutta taught to Rahula by the Buddha himself. To know, to be able to hear all these teachings, to have access to the sutta as itself, very wonderful good karma. We have done a lot of good things, a lot of good deeds to be able to attain this state of having the Dhamma right here before us. So remember this moment, keep it with you by practicing whatever you can, especially the first 4 stages of the 4 tetrads, which is the breath meditation in the first 4 stages, which we have been doing a simplified version of it. Then slowly add in what you have learned, what you know. Reflecting in this way is wonderful good karma. By the power of all this good we have done, by the power of the 3 jewels, may we be well and happy. May we be strong to overcome all the negativities of the world. May our loved ones and family members, people we care for, people we meet, to be well and happy. By the power of the 3 jewels too, may we especially have the courage and wisdom to aspire to stream winning in this life itself. May those good people who are practicing to attain the path in this life to attain awakening, attain this path. And may those who are lost and teaching the wrong things to find the true teaching and return to the path. May all beings be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.